Hey guys, welcome back to today's video. Today we have Jim Hood, the Attorney General from Mississippi, versus Donald Trump. I decided to do this because it was suggested, and I think that this one would be somewhat interesting. So, considering that Jim Hood is a popular Democrat and he's currently leading against the presumable Republican nominee for the 2019 Mississippi governor's race, I think he would actually have a shot at Mississippi. So when we start off by filling in all the swing states, there's going to be a lot more swing states than what we normally have. Hood is a very much conservative Democrat that will not only turn off some Democrats, but also get a lot of Republicans that previously identified as Democrats under maybe the Clinton era, who previously were actual Democrats, were actual Republicans, but registered under the Democratic Party and voted for people like Bill Clinton because they were conservatives with liberal on social issues, things like that. But Jim Hood, ultimately, Trump would lose more in this election than Hood would, because Hood would still have some solid Democratic states, whereas a number of conservative Democratic states, they are red states as of today, but coming into the future, a number of these states that are presumably safe red are going to start becoming toss-ups, and some states that are currently safe blue, were safe blue, and pretty much the entire Rust Belt are going to start turning more red. That's something we're going to take into a factor, but it's not something that we're going to see that prominent until future elections like 2024 and years to come. But we're going to see how this plays out in the 2020 election. So, first of all, Louisiana and Arkansas and Mississippi, these are states that I'm going to be probably yelled at for keeping as a toss-up right now. But regardless, I think they would be considered toss-ups because Hood is someone who's like Clinton, but he can better appeal to the Southern voters. I mean, he's coming from the South the same way Clinton did, but he's coming from a state like Mississippi where he was previously elected as Attorney General for his fourth time, with a considerably high approval rating for a Democrat. He's one of the few Democrats who could win in the South. He's currently leading in a poll against a Republican who has a 68%, who did have a 68% approval rating at the time the poll was taken, which is something very considerable, something that we really need to take into effect when looking at his chances down in Mississippi. So, starting off with the Clinton states, oops, my bad. But pretty much the states that Clinton won, Virginia, Colorado, New Mexico, and Nevada, all these states I think would go to Jim Hood. I think he would definitely be able to grab a lot of the Republican vote, and I think the Democratic Party right now is pretty much unified against the president. I wouldn't necessarily say that they're the most unified they've ever been, but they're currently behind one cause. They've shown that they can unify together in states like Virginia, Alabama, when the Bernie Sanders supporters were going against Doug Jones. They ended up coming out to vote for him just to show a message against the president. And we've been repeating over and over that the "I'm not Trump" argument can't win elections, but it's starting to win Democrats elections. I don't know why I filled in South Carolina for the Democrats. My bad. But going up to the Northeast, I think that Hood would hold on to Maine, but I think Trump would carry one electoral vote. Up in the Northeast, I think that Trump would narrowly carry New Hampshire. That would be something that would be different than what we've seen. But going over to states like Ohio and Iowa, I think that Donald Trump could carry Ohio and Iowa and North Carolina and Georgia and Arizona, and Texas. So we're gonna fill all those in now because I think that Hood can't really appeal to Southern voters the same way you actually might expect. Can't really appeal to African Americans, but actually I'm going to leave North Carolina and Georgia back in the toss-up column because I actually want to talk about them in a little more. I actually might make a revision on North Carolina. Considering the immense conservative population, although there's a lot of Democrats there, he may not. Democrats usually need African American turnout. I was thinking through it. Honestly, Hood may not be the best one for African American turnout, but he did help with getting rid of the KKK in Mississippi, so that'll be something that will help him the same way it helped Doug Jones. Actually, now that I think about it, I think that North Carolina and Georgia. I was not really factoring that in. I was really factoring in the conservative base down in the South. But honestly, with the amount of vote splitting that would happen between Hood and Trump, coming over from the Democratic Party and some Democrats going to Trump, it would be a pretty considerable election to watch. Going up to the north, though, I think Trump would carry the Rust Belt again. I don't think Hood would be able to grasp those real white working class voters the same way you might expect. And I also think that Trump would narrowly carry Minnesota. However, going down deep into the South, I think that Hood would carry Florida, and that ultimately puts him at 278 electoral votes. And we're going to keep looking at the map. So 278 electoral votes for Hood, ultimately making him the next president. I think he would narrowly carry the 2nd district from Nebraska. I think his ideals are close enough to bring out the voters there. Going down to Mississippi, I know this one is going to be yelled at. People are going to yell at me a lot for this one, but I think Mississippi would go to Hood narrowly, considering he has the home state factor, and the fact that Donald Trump's approval rating is 42%. Is no one going to point that out, that it's 42% in Mississippi? That's very considerable. Going out to Missouri, that's a little tricky. I'm going to give Missouri to Trump. Arkansas, that one, yeah, I would give that one to Trump. Going down to Louisiana, I think that Hood could narrowly carry Louisiana because Democrats have been proven to actually win down in Louisiana. Actually, I guess for the video's sake, I'll give Trump Louisiana. But honestly, this is a one skewed up map, I guess. It would just look even worse if Louisiana went to Hood. It really doesn't matter because I think he would ultimately win the election. But this is the final electoral map. 285 electoral votes for Jim Hood to 253 for Donald Trump. Thank you guys for watching this video, and I'll see you all later today.